Hello, hello. I hope you're having a great week. So today what I'm going to talk about specifically is you as a spiritual energy, healing, intuitive entrepreneur. You want to help as many people as possible, but you can't help everyone. So here's the big secret. I'm sure you've heard this before. You need to narrow down who you're making your offer to. And by narrowing it down, you actually improve the number of people that will come in to your practice. Stay tuned to hear more. I have interviewed hundreds of healers, and as a group, these loving, generous, and kind individuals want to improve the welfare of our planet, affecting millions, if not billions, of lives. Amongst the frustrations these amazing healers express during our conversations are the ability to attract stable income to sustain themselves, the loss of their life force energy when working with others, and even the lack of confidence or the fear of failing because of the responsibility of the well-being of others. I've had these very same frustrations myself during my 30-year healing history. When the calling to heal got so strong, I had to retire from my 40-year physics career. I needed to replace my six-figure salary fast. Standard sales and business techniques didn't always work for me as a highly sensitive introvert. Through trial and error and studying with many coaches, I developed a 4-step system that replaced my salary within 5 months. I've helped others develop their successful healing businesses, and I can help you too. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. Listen in to discover more. So I'm so glad you're back again. I'm really excited to be talking about this particular topic. This is a topic that I took a very long time to embrace and to even really understand. Because people would ask me, who are your best clients? Who are you marketing to? And I really didn't have much of a clue, right? Because somebody said, who can use your services? And I would say, why, everybody, right? So what we really want to do is narrow it down, because everybody is not going to be listening despite that. And I know this is the bane of a lot of people that are in the healing arts, is that you go and get all of these certifications and you're able to do so many things, whatever the person is, person, people, animal, whatever it is that you are focused on. They need help, and they need help in a lot of ways, and you want to offer as many ways as possible. But that isn't actually how marketing works. So marketing is more of a left brain activity instead of a right brained activity, right? So right brained activity, I can heal everybody. I can do whatever I want. I'm highly creative. I can take all these different paths and help you get to your end goal, whatever that end goal is. But that's not who will be listening, because you can't just say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be doing this. Right? So what I mean by narrowing it, my thing was low energy, because that was something that I suffered with for a very long time, right? So I would talk about low energy, whether it is low energy in emotions, low energy in relationships, and just low physical energy, right? So I got to that point, and I went around and plied my trade, and people came into my practice. So now what we want to do is focus on who it is you are, because really your ideal client is who you were before you went through this transformation, right? So the best way to start and figure out who it is you're going to make an offer to is to look in the mirror. Who are you? Where did you start? Where did you end up? Why do you want to help people? What was the big epiphany, right? So those things are going to help define you. And once you define you, you know who you can make the offer to. Right? And for me right now, I'm offering to help other healers grow their businesses because I have a lot of left brain talents, and I can interpret the left brain into the right brain world because I'm also an artist and highly creative, right? So I spent my life in science, which is highly analytical and logical, and now I'm doing what you would consider completely illogical, right? So what I did is I combined the science with the energy healing, and I created this whole new modality. I'm highly creative in terms of, figuring out how to heal people, right? And now I am helping other healers do that same kind of thing, as who they were and what they are now and how they can help you get from A to B. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself is, where were you before you wanted to be a healer? Like, what was it you did before? For me, it was being a physics professor and researcher, right? So what were you doing before? You could have been somebody that was at the top of the corporate ladder. You could be a lawyer. You could be a business person. You could be a salesperson. Whatever it is you're doing, you could be a teacher, right? So whatever it is that you were doing before, and now you want to be a healer and you transition into something else. And I'm sure that healing has always been sort of in the back of your mind, right? I've always wanted to help people from the time I was really little. I used to tutor people to help them catch up in math, let's say. And then I would also help people feel better because my heart would go out to people that were depressed and upset, and I would try to help them feel better. And then my Claire skills started to really get into focus. So it's always been there in the back of my mind. And I grew up with a grandmother who would always have precognizant dreams. And then I found out that her mother was just like that. And my mother was like that. And now I found out that my dad is a clairvoyant. So it kind of runs in the family. So it's always been that thing in the background that was just part of who we were as a family. And a lot of us in the family have clair skills. In fact, I can't think of a single person right now that doesn't, or doesn't acknowledge, or only that they don't acknowledge them, right? So you've probably already had this kind of thing going in the background, and you discovered that you could help people, and you were always surprised at how easy and how it flowed from you to them and so on. So now we're where you were, and combining that healing thing, you could sit and start crafting out a story, not chronological, but the key points, right? Key points for me, where I was and where I am now, and the key things that got me across that bridge, right? So that's what needs to be put down in some sort of organized fashion so people understand who you are, and so you understand who you are. That's the really key point. And then the next thing is, what's the big driver? Like, why is it that you want to do these things? What's driving you? Right? I had a big driver in my family because my grandmother and my mother were sick, and my other grandmother was also sick, but she passed away from it fairly young. She wasn't even 50 yet, I believe. And my mom and my grandma, they lived a very long time, but they lived their life physically compromised. And when I started to get that way, I said, okay, the buck stops here. We're going to solve this. Right? So now I consider it more or less solved. I have far fewer problems than everybody else my age. Right? So now when you start considering what your big driver is and where you were and where you are now consider who you would like to help the most. What's their age? Do you want to help 30 to 50-year-olds? Do you want to help 40 to 60 or 50 to 70, whatever? Do you want to help mostly women? Do you want to help mostly men? Like, I have about a 1/3 to 2/3 a balance of men to women in my practice. So I don't have any gender specific anything. And also the people that come into my classes, it's about a quarter men to 3/4 women. Right. So start defining who that is, because that's going to help you basically take aim at the people that you're interested in. Because as we talked about accessing your subconscious, you're looking over at a crowded room and you go, is there someone that would be interested in what I have to say? And if you hear yes, then you'll absolutely gravitate towards that person, because that's all guided by instinct. Right. And then you can also look at how they live their life, where do they shop, what do they read, how do they eat, all of the things, what their favorite activities are. Do they like hiking in the mountains? Do they like surfing at the beach? Do they go to gyms? All of those things play a role in who you will be serving and who you will be taking aim at. And that's just the general things. Of course, we'll get specific in terms of narrowing the field of what you're offering down into a very specific niche. They call it niching. Some people say that the niche pill is kind of like a toxic pill, but I don't think so, unless you're going to speak at specific groups. Like, when the pandemic becomes endemic, we'll probably be able to go out and speak at groups. And you can speak at health groups, for example. You can speak at hospital groups. You can speak at all kinds of places, homes. You can speak at chiropractic offices. Like, there are all kinds of places that you can speak, whatever it is that you do matches up with them, right? And so by narrowing, if you speak at those kinds of places, you don't necessarily narrow the focus down, but absolutely every time you make an offer or go to speak somewhere, you want that person to go, oh, she's talking about me. I need to find out more. And when you have a one-to-one conversation, you want them to go, oh, yes, tell me more. I'm very interested in what you have to say. Right? That's what's going to help you build your bio, your profile, so you can build a business that can support you. Like, personally, I don't need to make multi-millions of dollars, but what I would like to do is be able to support myself in a manner that's comfortable for me, right? I grew up in an upper middle class kind of neighborhood and family, and put myself through school and all of that. I had none of those privileges from rich people because, frankly, it didn't really matter. I was able to survive quite well on my own devices. And I hope that you will be able to, too, doing something that really drives you, something that you have this feeling inside, this inner drive. And discovering what that is really important for getting you to be able to make an offer. So it's really all about where you were and where you are now. What was the pathway that got you there? Who can you best serve? And what is it that they need the most? And maybe your own illness, right? Whatever it was, because we've all gone through this dark night of the soul, whether it's tough relationships, whether it's trauma, whether it's grief, whether it's anxiety, whether it's rage, something has triggered you into wanting to discover that part of yourself. And that's the thing that we're going to focus on the next video. So that's the summary of this video is, who are you? Look in the mirror, describe yourself, who you were before and who you are now. And what is your big driver? And even, what you were doing before and even might still be doing, but want to transition to do something to help others. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. If you found this message helpful, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, and share it with your friends. To discover more about the 4-step system for attracting a generous income as a healer or an intuitive coach without burning out, sign up for my free training at www.highpaidhealers.com. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video.